wherever you are, sitting on a chair, lying on a bed, or listening with your eyes closed. Stop for a moment. Just listen. The Earth, the planet you are standing on, the ground beneath your feet, the house you live in, the city you belong to, the life you recognize as your own. The Earth, right now, is rotating. Not gently, not slowly. At nearly 1,670 kilometers per hour. And yet, you don't feel it. Your body feels still. Your breathing feels normal. Everything around you feels calm. Because you were born on a moving planet. Tonight, I'm not here to tell you a fictional story. I'm not here to scare you. I am here to take you inside a question. A very small question. So small that it usually goes unnoticed. What if the Earth stopped rotating for just 1 second? 1 second. A blink. A breath between two heartbeats. A moment so short that we barely acknowledge it. No warning, no sound, no lights going out. Nothing dramatic happens. Except everything ends up in the wrong place. When you were a child, someone told you the Earth rotates. Maybe you saw a picture in a book, a blue sphere floating in black space. But that was an image, an idea. You never really asked, what does that rotation actually mean? The Earth does not only move around the sun, the Earth spins around itself. Which means, right now, no matter where you are moving. You, your house, your bed, your phone, your heartbeat. Everything together at nearly 1,670 kilometers per hour. You might wonder, if I'm moving this fast, why don't I fall? Because you are not alone. Everything around you is moving at the same speed. The air, the oceans, the mountains, the cities, together. This is balance, not stillness. A moving balance. Without this balance, life would not exist. Now, think about this balance. Like a dance. No one is standing still, but no one is falling either. Now imagine this dance suddenly stops. The Earth stops. But you don't. Take a moment to understand this. The Earth stopping means the ground stops. But the motion inside your body has no reason to stop. You are still moving. Your blood, your bones, every cell inside you, everything continues at the old speed. This difference, this single second, changes everything. This is where today's story truly begins. This is where physics enters the human story. And you are no longer just a listener. You are standing on this Earth, a planet that might forget how to rotate for 1 second. What happens next? We will explore slowly. Not in one breath, not in one leap. Because some truths are better understood when they unfold slowly. Now, this is where we slow down. Because from here, everything begins to change. When we say the earth stops, what we really mean is the ground stops, the mountains stop, the cities stop, but motion does not. Motion is not an object. Motion is not a thing you can touch. Motion is whatever was moving continues to move. At this moment, the speed at which you were moving, when the earth stops, that speed does not disappear. Which means, at the exact moment the earth stops, you are still moving. This motion cannot be seen with the eyes, but the body feels it. In less than 1 second, your body separates from the ground beneath you. This is not falling. This is being thrown. You are not alone. Every person in your city moves at the same time, in the same direction. Buildings, they stop, but the people inside them do not. At this moment, streets stop being streets. Homes stop being homes. Everything begins to tear in a single direction. There is no sound, because before sound can form, everything is already over. In this 1 second, you do not realize that you are falling. You only realize that your body no longer feels like your own. Your blood still moves at the old speed. Your bones still try to stay where they were. This internal conflict, this tearing, is what breaks the body. This is not an explosion. This is not fire. This is physics, quietly doing what it always does. If at this point you feel like you have never thought about the earth this way, leave a like. It tells me you are still inside this story. But this story does not end with humans. Because without humans, there are still forces on this planet that do not stop. The oceans, the air, fire, they are still moving. Now, let's place the human story slightly behind us. Because in this 1 second, the earth does not only lose people, it begins to lose itself. The oceans. The oceans were never meant to stay still. They are always moving, always adjusting, always responding. At the moment the earth stops, the oceans do not. The water continues at its previous speed, but the land stands still. This difference, this imbalance, turns the ocean into a wall. Entire oceans rush toward continents all at once. This is not a wave. This is a moving barrier of water. Cities do not understand where the water comes from, because the water comes from every direction. Then, the air. The atmosphere has momentum too. When the earth stops, the air does not. At this moment, the speed of the air is not like a storm. It is like planetary motion. The air tears across the surface, forests, homes, the faces of mountains. There is no thunder, because thunder needs time. And here, there is no time. Then fire. Fire does not stay where it was. Electricity cannot remain stable. It moves violently in one direction. In this single second, the face of the earth is pulled to one side. This is not destruction. This is the breaking of balance. If you could see the planet from above, you would see a blue sphere suddenly unable to hold itself together. Gravity still exists, matter still exists, but motion is gone. And here, a question is born. How did this planet ever survive at all? Because we forget, when movement stops, life stops with it. In this 1 second, the earth understands it was never just a rock. It was a moving story. Let us assume somehow you survive. Perhaps you were in a place on earth where the violence of that 1 second did not reach directly. Perhaps you were underground. Perhaps in the shadow of a mountain. You open your eyes. The earth is still there, but it is not familiar. The color of the sky is frozen. The sun does not rise. The sun does not set. It hangs in one place. Day and night are no longer separate. On one side, blinding light. On the other, permanent darkness. As you begin to walk, you feel something is wrong. The ground does not feel the same. In some places, it feels unbearably heavy. In other places, strangely light. Gravity is no longer equal everywhere. The oceans, on one side of the planet, they have swollen permanently. On the other side, the ocean floor lies exposed. The air still moves in one direction. It never stops. In this world, for the first time, you feel how small you are. You understand the earth was never built for you. You survived because you adapted to its motion. If at this moment you feel this story is meant to be heard in silence, subscribe to the channel, because here we do not shout. We try to understand quietly. In this new earth, clocks are useless, because time no longer moves forward the way it once did. When you breathe, you do not know whether it is morning or night. You only know you are still here. And this being here, this existence, becomes the greatest question on this planet. Because when this earth stops rotating, life itself begins to ask questions. Now, you stand quietly on this earth. An earth that still exists, but is no longer what it used to be. At this point, one truth slowly becomes clear. The earth is not just a round rock. It is a moving system. Without motion, the oceans cannot survive. The air cannot survive. Fire cannot survive. And humans? Humans even less so. We are alive because this planet keeps rotating. Day after day, year after year, millions upon millions of years. We forget this because motion is silent. And what is silent, we accept as normal. And what feels normal is what we understand the least. 1 second of stopping reminds us life is not guaranteed. It is a moving balance. Tonight, when you go to sleep, perhaps after turning off the lights, perhaps with your eyes closed, take a moment to remember this earth is still rotating beneath you, silently, without asking for your attention. If this story left behind a quiet space inside you, write this in the comments. The earth is still rotating. And if you feel stories like this are worth returning to, subscribe to the channel. Here, we do not rush. We try to understand slowly. That is all for tonight. May the earth keep rotating, and may you sleep in peace. Good night.